first disqualifier that a recruiter uses is to see the formatting and the spelling of your resume. If you're applying for an executive assistant position and you're not formatting right, you miss commas, you're misspelling words, how do you expect to get that job? Formatting is extremely important. It's eye-appealing. Spelling on your resume is critical. And being honest on your resume. I could not tell you the amount of people that come into my office that say they know Microsoft Access. And then when I give them a test on Microsoft Access, they score a 20% out of 100. So I say, well, I thought you knew Microsoft Access. They said, well, I kind of used it in college, or I kind of used it in high school, or kind of used it in my last job once when I did this. Well, then you don't know Microsoft Access. I know you want to put it, and I know you want to boast it, and I know you, but you have to put what's honest. You have to put the truth. If you put the truth, you will find the opportunities that you're looking for. You will find that people will really appreciate, because when they read your resume, they invite you in, they're going to look and they're going to ask you. If it's an Access job, they're going to ask you, listen, do you know Access? It's a small portion of this job. Do you know it? Well, let me tell you the level that I do know Access. I use it once or twice. I use it at such and such. I would say that it's minimal knowledge. I would just need to spend some time. I need to run through the tutorials. I need to take a course. So whatever the case might be, but honesty. Honesty always prevails. Always prevails. Let's talk about a little bit about when you get there. How about some interviewing tips? How about the fact that most people forget all of the little fundamentals. The little fundamentals that are critical, because they're looking at a big picture here, but they're missing those little fine points that are critical. Like if you have an interview tomorrow with ABC Company, not ABC Network. I'm not plugging ABC Network. I don't even know the people at ABC Network. ABC Company, any company. You don't know, you've never been to their location. Don't you think it's a great idea to map it out before you go? Do you honestly want to be late for your own interview when you're competing against millions of other people? Map it out! Check the traffic. Drive there the day before. Take the train if you're in New York City or in Chicago. See where it is. And give yourself time for error. You cannot afford to be late for an interview. It's impossible. You're late for an interview, you're out. You're out. Go. Don't come back. Why would I hire you if you can't be on time for your own interview, your own future? And you can't blame the train, and you can't blame, I-95 had an accident. You can't do that, because nobody wants to hear your problem. They want to know if you can solve their problem. Well, map it out. Map out where you're going. Bring many copies of your resume. Don't come to our office or any job and say, hey, I have my resume on this disc. Can you please print it out for me? Oh my goodness gracious. You mean you're not prepared? You're coming to this job and you're not prepared and you're wondering why you can't find a job? You have to come prepared, and you can do that. Bring several copies. Maybe you meet the HR recruiter. Then after you meet the recruiter likes you a lot, says, listen, I'm going to put you with the couple of the line directors. You're going to meet one of the managers. Now, the recruiter doesn't want to just walk around with your one resume. You want to have extra copies. You want to say, no, hold on to your resume. I got more copies. I'll give that to the manager. That shows preparation. That shows that you're ready. Always arrive early. I know that we touched upon, but arrive early. Get there 15 minutes early. Now, I'm not saying to get there 2 hours early. And if you're there 2 hours early, wait downstairs somewhere. Don't go and bother the receptionist in the front. No, I'm saying 15 minutes. I'm saying 15 minutes prior to your meeting, you're there. You're signing in. Why? Especially if you're in New York City, you got to get through security. You got to make sure. You got to get in the elevator. You don't want anything to prohibit you from an opportunity. 15 minutes at the minimum and at the maximum. So 15 minutes is a good rule of thumb. Here's a good one. Here's a good one that a lot of people forget. Breath mints. For goodness sake, I know that recruiters are not supposed to say that. I know I'm probably breaking every rule that you're supposed to break, but hell, I mean, I'm here to tell you the truth. If you smoke, if you drink coffee, and you come and meet somebody and they're in close proximity to you, they're going to smell it on you. And let me tell you, you know what? You're there to get this job. And the impression that you leave on them is extremely important. And if they're smelling something on you that doesn't smell so hot, listen, you're dealing with a human being that's interviewing you, that's talking to you, that's meeting you. And let's be realistic here. Do you really want them to go, oh, God? And that's the impression they're going to have. During this whole conversation you're having with them, they're going to be thinking of how much your breath stinks. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know that shouldn't make anything on, should it matter? No, of course not. But these are human beings you're dealing with, and that does matter. And it is critical. So, here's a tip, very important. Don't have that mint in your mouth when you're going into the interview. Don't chew gum. Are you out of your mind? No, absolutely not. But be prepared. If you ate something prior, if you drank coffee, if you smoked cigarettes, I don't know if any of you smoke. Smoking is very bad for you. But if you do any of that, here's your time to freshen your breath. You're meeting somebody. It's very important that you're not raising any red flags. Treat the receptionist well. Do you know, I'll give you a quick story. I placed the executive assistant to the CFO of a huge, major Fortune 1000 company here in New York City. They felt this lady went to 4 different interviews. She did very, very well. And the CEO, although he had his reservations because it was somebody new and he lost somebody that was in that position that he had cared for many years, he said, you know what? This person seems to be our person. Let's give this lady a shot. Okay. I got a call. Jean-Paul, we're going to give this lady a shot. We're ready to rock and roll. Please send her in tomorrow to fill up all of our paperwork. We'd like to possibly get her started. We're going to send her an offer letter, but we need her to fill out this paperwork so we can do our background check on her. Okay, fair enough. I call our candidate, we send the candidate there, and guess what? Our candidate is extremely rude to the receptionist. The receptionist of the building. The receptionist of the company. Excuse me. Well, guess what? The receptionist of the company has been there 35 years. Knows the CEO and saw the CEO climb in rank during the tenure that she has been there. They have known each other personally for a long time. The first thing that this receptionist did was call the CEO and said, listen, I hear that you're hiring this lady. Let's call her Jane Doe. And if there's a Jane Doe out there, please, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about you. And she's rude, can't speak with people, and let me tell you the experience that I just had with her. Well, let me tell you what happened. Not only did they rescind the offer from possibly giving her the job, but they called me very, very upset. Jean-Paul, we need to start all over again. And they told me the story. The receptionist is a gatekeeper. The executive assistant is a gatekeeper. The administrative assistant to a manager is a gatekeeper. These people protect the folks that they work with, and they're always watching very carefully. Be very careful with the receptionist. When you go into a company, treat these people with respect, just like you would treat anybody with respect.
Went from bankrupt to banked up. Go from running on E to fill the tank up. I go from being ignored to being thanked plus. I used to be unemployed and now I ranked up. I went from nappy to happy, homie, it finally happened. And the fact is I didn't give up, I made it, Captain. And if you wanna do the things that I done, you better shine. So they set your sun, Ain't nothing holding me back.